Hello, this is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Spiritual Immersion, Taking the Plunge. And the intention of these podcasts is to support and empower you to curiously explore what's true for you and how do you want to live in your life, and what did you come here to experience in your life? What is it that you're really wanting? What's the highest desire? What would be infinitely pleasing to you to have or to be or to experience? So that's a lot, right? But if I ask the questions, maybe you're willing to kind of explore the answers to that. Maybe you're not ready yet. And this is a dilemma that so many of us are in. A lot of our, so many people are in some spiritual tradition. There are people who have religious traditions, and so we go to church, or we go to our readings, or we go to our study groups, and there are spiritual principles. There are elements and aspects that are given to us as like, this is the truth from a spiritual perspective. And we go, yeah, but I'm not going there yet. I don't want to give up my my pursuit of happiness through the consensus view of reality. I don't want to give up my pursuit of happiness through the idea of success and money and material goods. I don't want to give that up. So I'm not ready to go and dive into that spiritual place. It's a really, really good thing to know. It's one of the things that I read in the Course in Miracles, the book, A Course in Miracles, many times. It's like, maybe you're not ready. And it's like, yeah, maybe I'm not ready. It's like, okay, great. There's nothing that says you have to be doing this work on a certain schedule. Some of your friends might be doing something different than what you're doing, and it's like, wow, why are they getting some progress here, and why am I not getting progress? And it's like, because most likely you've declared you're not quite ready. And that's a good thing to know. It's just a good thing to know. If you are someone who is in relation to an addiction. We're all in relation to addictions. Some of us to substances, some to behaviors, some to emotional patterns, some to thinking patterns, some to all kinds of stuff. But we're all addicted to something. We're all engaged in relating to a particular form of addiction or habit or pattern, whatever you want to call it. Quite often for addicts, drug addicts, alcoholics, food addicts, sex addicts, whatever addicts are, they're not ready to give up their relationship to that behavior or substance. And smoking is another sort of big one. They go, I'm not ready yet. It's like, okay, you don't have to be ready. You'll know when it's time. And you probably know people who have quit over and over again, or have gone back to relationships that are harmful, or they have a pattern of going into the same kind of love relationships over and over again, or the same work kind of patterns over and over again. And there's a place where you go, well, why am I keep choosing that? And it's like, because you're not yet ready to choose differently. And so there's no judgments about that, except for what the judgment is that you put on yourself. And you can go, yeah, but I'm getting sick. My doctor told me I've got diabetes. I keep getting beat up and neglected and ignored in my relationships. I keep getting, my boss keeps, not being kind to me. The workplace is not, why do I keep doing it? Why do I keep making those same choices? It's like, great question. And you're probably not ready to make the choices a different choice until you are. And so part of the intention of this series of podcasts on spiritual immersion is to say, hey, you can do incrementally. I mean, that's basically all we can do is an incremental immersion into this process. And so little by little by little by little, we make progress in in bringing about peace and harmony and serenity and acceptance, little by little by little, we begin to find that we're not engaged in our habits and our addictions as much as we were. Something shifts. And this has to do with what I just spoke about in the previous podcast. When we're present to and allowing of and just for today making a different choice that seems more in alignment with self-worth, self-value, self-esteem, self-respect, reverence for our human spirit self, something shifts. And so if you're not ready, I totally get it. There's so many as these podcasts reflect, I have not been ready about a lot of things until today. And then there it is. There's the lesson for me. So that's one and an important piece of this. The other important piece of this is sometimes I believe we created a contract or an agreement with ourselves that we're coming back into this human form to learn and to grow and say, okay, this time I'm going to get this far. I'm going to, really go for it. And then I back away and avoid and ignore and distract myself from that edge of my comfort zone. And then all of a sudden something happens. COVID, separations, rejections, something happens, an illness, a disease that says, I can't ignore this anymore. Cirrhosis of the liver for alcoholics. I can't ignore this anymore. And yet people do ignore that. People with diabetes, they ignore. People with cancers, they ignore what they're here to learn. And so there's these wake-up calls, the wisdom of the 2x4 upside the head to say, wake up. Wake the fuck up. Excuse my expression, but that's sometimes what the universe is providing for us, are wake-up calls. And we can ignore those, and then we will most likely get even a more serious wake-up call, a bigger 2x4 upside the head. And quite often it's like people go, I didn't do anything. Why am I getting this huge, horrible, terrible wake-up call? I mean, they don't say it a wake-up call. Why is this happening to me? What did I do? And it's like, well, it might be what you're not doing, what you've been talking about doing, but what you're not doing. And that's what's true for most of us, is we talk about doing things. Yeah, I'm going to go on a spiritual retreat. Yeah, I'm going to go start reading the Bible every day. Yeah, I'm going to go walk every day. And they don't, until perhaps a wake-up call, and something horrible, terrible can happen. The COVID virus, the pandemic that's happening here in 2020, it's a wake-up call for a lot of people, and millions of people, billions of people. It's worldwide, and it's a wake-up call to say, what are you doing here? What is your highest truth, your highest value? And it's putting people into an extraordinary uncertainty and putting them against, wow, what's really important to me? And some people are just terrified to the degree that it's just they're going in the other direction. And that's what they're not ready to ask the bigger questions. But they're in it. And so a lot of people are going back more alcohol use, drug abuse, medications, food, those kinds of things, pornography, all kinds of stuff that people are using to calm the anxiety of the uncertainty of not knowing, because of the 2x4 of this pandemic that's been shown to us. And you can say, well, is it meant to be a wake-up call for everybody? It's like, well, I don't know. My experience it is, but that's because I see through that lens, through that paradigm. That we all have an opportunity to grow and learn personally and spiritually because of this pandemic that's happening to us all. And we get to question reality. We get to question where we've put our priorities and our values. I've met a number of people who are like, I don't want to go back into the corporate world. I got to learn. I have to figure out how to make money, but I don't want to go back there. It's soulless. It hurts me. I feel neglected and ignored. I'm not seen there. And I want to be seen, and I want to bring that kind of level of quality of life to other people. So they don't know what to do, but they know they don't want to do that. And that's a really great start to say, okay, I know I don't want to do that. And still they go, yeah, but I have to, because how am I going to get into, whatever it's next if I don't know what that is, and I got to make money, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, all of that's true. And how to navigate the experiences of this transition, of this awakening, of this 2x4, of all of that's going on. How do you be with, I don't want to, I don't want that anymore. I want something different, but I don't know how to do that. And this is one of those points where we get to choose. You're about at the comfort level of your comfort zone and the edge of your comfort zone. And you're about to say, I'm willing to look. I'm willing to see. I'm willing to see the possibility. I'm willing to see it. I don't have to choose, because that's my perspective, is just see what's there and see what you want to choose. If you want to choose to go back into the corporate world, or go back to your old job, or go back to your old relationship, or whatever that is, you can still always choose that. But are you willing to go the next step? And again, you might go, I'm not ready. Okay. And the consequences of not being ready is staying in a job, or going back to a job, or going to a new job, which is going to give you the same of what you had. And it's okay. There's so much to learn right there. In the previous podcast, it was titled, Sometimes Life is the Best Therapist. Wherever you are, there's your lessons. And a lot of people say, I can't, and me too. I couldn't, my marriage, both of them, but the second one was not fulfilling, and I needed to leave it, but I couldn't leave. Things were going on, and we were living in different states, and all of that kind of stuff. I really love this person, but I needed to get out of the relationship. But because I had so much to learn yet within the relationship, then that's what I did. So if you're still pulled to jobs or relationships or patterns with partners or children, with food, your addictions, there's so much to learn right there. We talk about this, people say this all the time, that when people divorce, when people divorce somebody, they're most likely going to get somebody exactly the same, because who they are is the same. So they attract the same teachers, if you will, the same kind of person, so they'll get the lessons. And if they don't get it that time, they'll pick somebody else who's going to do exactly the same thing. And at first it seems like, oh no, this person is so different from the first. It's like, yeah. But it still draws up the old patterns that need to be addressed. And if you don't want to address it with this person, okay, there'll be somebody else that comes along, and they'll perhaps be the one that supports and empowers you in the way that says, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready to do the work. I'm ready to have the life I want. I'm ready to let go of the suffering and the struggling. I'm ready. And those are great words, big words. And it's such a good moment. And I'm ready to embark on a journey of learning who I am and empowering myself to make different choices. It's a big process. It's a big, big work. And I can tell you, it's so fulfilling. It's so challenging sometimes. I hate it. And it's, when I'm in the good spots, it's like, oh, it's so worth it. So worth it. All right. That's pretty much it for today. I'm going a little longer than usual, but I just wanted to get that complete. There's no hurry. There's no rush. If you're not ready, you're not ready. And you'll be ready when you're ready. And that's the good news. And you'll be ready at some point. All right. Big hugs to you. Bye for now.